We know the quotes, some of us by heart. You keep using that word, but I don't think that word means what you think that word means. We know the sword fight. I admit it, you are better than I am. Then why are you smiling? Because I know something you don't know. What is that? I am not left-handed. Wahaha! All those things combined are what help make The Princess Bride something special. But today, I want to talk to you all about how The Princess Bride deals with honor and dads.
Architectural Outcast.
The movie starts out all over the place. We begin with a grandfather reading a story to his grandson. There's a beautiful young lady of a vague but relatively high social status who falls in love with a lowly farm boy. Said farm boy has also fallen for the beautiful young woman of vague high social status, and he decides he needs to head out into the world to seek his fortune so he can return in triumph and wed the girl of his dreams. Fast forward 5 years, and the young farm boy has disappeared. Last word, he was captured by the dread pirate Roberts, who is notorious for killing all of his prisoners. The young woman of vague high social status, her social status isn't so vague anymore. She's now a princess. She's been selected by the local king to become his bride. The beautiful young woman, she ain't happy because she's still pining for her missing farm boy. One day when she's out riding her horse, one of the few joys in her life, she encounters 3 rather interesting individuals. The 3 peculiar individuals promptly kidnap the princess. These 3 peculiar individuals are going to leave the princess's body on the border with a rival country. They've been hired by somebody to start a war. As the trio flee with Princess in tow to the cliffs of insanity, they're being followed by a mysterious stranger who is getting closer and closer. Fezzik the giant starts to climb a rope carrying the princess and his 2 other buddies on his back. The mysterious stranger, the man in black, arrives and promptly starts climbing the rope himself. As soon as the group gets to the top, Vicini, the leader, rushes over and cuts the rope. To everybody's surprise, the mysterious man in black is still climbing the cliffs of insanity. He's just now doing it without the benefit of the rope. This is where Vicini tells Inigo Montoya, wait here, wait here, finish him with your blade, and then catch up with us. Inigo agrees to kill the man in black, but on one condition. He will do it left-handed. Vicini says why? Vicini says, why? You know we're in a hurry. Just do it and get it over with. Inigo says the all-important line. It's the only way I can be satisfied. The only way I can be satisfied. What the heck does that mean? It means the only way my honor can be satisfied. Inigo tells the man in black a few minutes later, I'm only doing this to pay the bills. Due to particular circumstances, Inigo Montoya might have become an assassin, but he hasn't given up his honor. He might be there to kill the man in black, but he's going to do everything in his power to make the fight as fair as possible. Inigo finds this whole situation rather distasteful. He wants to get it over with as quick as possible. So he starts asking the man in black, if you don't mind, could you speed things up a little bit? Climb the cliffs of insanity a little faster? The man in black is like, hey, this ain't as easy as it looks. I'm doing the best I can, so back off. Inigo offers to help speed things up. Hey, I could throw you the rope. The man in black is like, no. Inigo says, come on, you can trust me. Man in black, no. Inigo says, I will give you my word as a Spaniard. Man in black, no, I've known too many Spaniards. Inigo stops and he says very seriously, I swear to you on the sword of my father, you will reach the top of this cliff safely. Without a second thought, the man in black says, give me the rope. I would argue this is the precise moment where the relationship between Inigo Montoya and the man in black Westley, the farm boy, fundamentally changed. They stopped being enemies and became honorable adversaries. And yes, there is an important difference. Those without a morality or those without honor don't understand morality and honor. More importantly, they don't understand people who have a morality, who have honor. On the flip side, those who have a morality, who have honor, recognize other people who also have a morality, who have honor. When Inigo gets serious and swears an oath on the sword of his father, and when Westley immediately accepts that oath, takes the rope, both recognize they share the same code of honor. Neither one will do anything to harm the other one until the duel formally begins. Once Westley gets to the top of the cliff, he immediately starts to draw his blade. Inigo stops him, says, "Oh, no, not yet. First, catch your breath, get some rest." Something to note here. Just like Inigo, Westley carries his sword on the left side. He's right-handed. But he starts to draw his sword left-handed. Both Westley and Inigo show that they have absolute trust in the other person. Westley sits down and promptly takes off one of his boots to shake out the rocks. Have you all ever tried to just walk while wearing one boot? There is no way you could do anything that requires intricate footwork like fencing while wearing one boot. Westley has put himself entirely at Inigo's mercy. Inigo one-ups Westley. He disarms himself. He voluntarily hands Westley his sword. Westley takes the sword, examines it, declares it to be the greatest sword he's ever seen, and hands it back, thus proving he's worthy of Inigo's trust. At the beginning of the duel, Inigo apologizes. "I'm sorry I put you in this position." And Westley accepts the apology. As the duel progresses and one and then the other gains the upper hand, neither one ever resorts to dirty tricks. They don't try to throw dirt in each other's eyes or pull a hidden blade or punch or kick. It is a pure test of skill with the sword. At the end of the duel, when Inigo has been defeated, he accepts the consequences of his actions. He doesn't try to run away, and he doesn't beg or plead. The only request he makes, make it quick. Westley spares Inigo. He just knocks him out. Westley never forgot his original purpose, to save the princess. Inigo was never a threat to Westley. He was just a minor inconvenience. Because Inigo acted in such an honorable manner, Westley's honor compelled him to extend the same courtesy to Inigo. We see the exact same thing play out when Westley has his duel with Fezzik the Giant. When Vicini realizes that Westley's still on their trail, he orders Fezzik the Giant to ambush him. Fezzik doesn't like that idea, doesn't think it's very sporting. Fezzik proves to Westley that he has the upper hand. He could crush Westley with a rock before Westley could get to him with his sword. But then he offers a deal. We drop our weapons and fight hand to hand, the way nature intended. After agreeing to the terms, Westley points out the giant is at least twice his size. This isn't exactly a fair fight. Fezzik's reply, "It's not my fault I grew this big. Deal with it." Fezzik may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he's not exactly stupid. He may want a fair fight, but he still wants to use everything that he has to his advantage. Westley outsmarts Fezzik, gets him in a chokehold, and eventually knocks him out. Similar to how he treated Inigo, once Westley defeated Fezzik, had him at his mercy, he spared him. Westley goes beyond just sparing Fezzik. He turns him over, checks to make sure that he's still alive, makes it so that he can still breathe. He extends to Fezzik the same courtesy that Fezzik had shown to him. Things work out very differently when Westley finally catches up with Vicini and the princess. Vicini and Westley agree to have a battle of wits to the death. Vicini's in the middle of gloating, thinking he's won the battle of wits, when suddenly he drops like a rock. He's deader than a Disney Marvel movie. What was Vicini's fatal mistake that led to his untimely demise? Those without honor are incapable of understanding honor, and more importantly, they're not capable of understanding those who have honor. Vicini assumed that because Westley had treated Inigo and Fezzik with honor, thus he would also treat Vicini with honor as well. The way Westley treats people is entirely dependent upon how they act towards him. Inigo and Fezzik acted honorably. Thus, Westley is willing to extend them the same courtesy. They have become honorable adversaries. And once Inigo and Fezzik are no longer interfering with Westley's goal, saving the princess, he's willing to spare them. Vicini, on the other hand, he has no scruples. He has no honor. I mean, he's trying to kill an innocent woman to start a war after all. He's a dishonorable enemy, to be eliminated as quickly and efficiently as possible. Vicini's second mistake, trusting Westley. You never play the other man's game. Westley lies by omission by implying that he's only going to put poison in one cup when he puts the poison in 2 cups. He also lies by omission by not telling Vicini he's immune to this particular poison. It's Westley's honor, his willingness to spare Inigo and Fezzik, that ultimately saves his life and Buttercup, the princess's life. If Inigo and Fezzik were dead, Westley would have died in the torture chamber, and Buttercup, the princess, would have ruined that perfect breast. Westley has a very traditional American honor code. With honorable adversaries, you're required to play by the rules. You give quarter, you show mercy. With dishonorable enemies, all bets are off. There are no rules. You eliminate them as quickly and efficiently as possible. It's like putting down a rabid dog. Although you do get style points if you can use their tactics against them. Going back to Inigo, and when he first meets Westley, we learn that why he's become an assassin is because he's pursuing the murderer of his father. When Inigo tells the story of his father's murder, we can feel the melancholy, the pain, and the rage when he says the simple line, "I loved my father very much." Inigo tells us when he finally catches up to the six-fingered man, his father's murderer, he will go up to him and say, "Hello, I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." I have to confess, the first time I saw The Princess Bride, the first time I heard Inigo say those lines, my reaction was, that's kind of stupid. You've been chasing a guy for 20 years, and that's the best you can come up with? Now, in my defense, I grew up in the 80s, the era of the one-liner, the witty comeback, and this just seemed like a bit of a letdown. My attitude completely changed when Inigo finally caught up with the six-fingered man and delivered that line to his father's murderer. "Hello, I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Who he is, why he's there, and what he's going to do. What more do you need? The power of simplicity. Everything is stripped away, allowing the emotion to take center stage. And we feel Inigo Montoya's pain when he delivers those lines. When Inigo finally defeats the six-fingered man, has him at his mercy, he demands, "Promise me that you will give me everything I ever desire." And the six-fingered man says, "Yes, I will give you everything you've ever desired and more." Inigo stabs the six-fingered man through the heart, and as he lays dying, Inigo says, "I want my father back, you son of a bitch." Mandy Patinkin, the actor who portrayed Inigo Montoya, had lost his father to cancer just before the beginning of filming The Princess Bride. He was still grieving. The anguish and pain that Mandy put into that line, "I want my father back," is a gut punch to anyone who's ever lost a father. Growing up, I was very close to my father. But just a few years before I saw The Princess Bride, I lost him to mental illness. And it was that scene that I realized Inigo Montoya articulated what I wanted to say to the person who my father had become. "I want my father back, you son of a bitch." Here's another thing to think about. Indigo's father must have been an amazing dad. Indigo, not only did he spend 20 years hunting down his father's murderer, along the way, he became one of the world's greatest swordsmen. And no matter the circumstance he found him, no matter how dubious, he never gave up his honor. His dad must have been an amazing role model. The power of great dads. My advice to y'all, if my opinion matters, never give up your honor and treasure your father. If you're lucky enough to still have him around, give him a hug because they could be gone tomorrow. And all of us will eventually experience the pain of Inigo Montoya. I want my dad back. At any rate, I hope I've given you all something to think about. And until next time, y'all be safe. If y'all are still here, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. While you're at it, why don't you like this video, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell. You can hear me yammer on about something else next time. And feel free to share this video far and wide.
Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment.